So we're here with Tony Adams at Brent Cross Shopping Centre in North London. Arsenal legend, Arsenal captain, FA Cup winner, Premier League winner, League Cup winner, 66 caps for England. But boxing, Tony, what?
Yeah, obviously I went to Azerbaijan 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. It's 18 months of head coach, and for the last 2.5 years I've been working as advisor to the president of the football club, Gabala. In Europe it's a little bit different. They have sporting clubs, and the sporting club Gabala. We have a very successful judo shooting team. Football teams qualify for Europe, so that's very exciting for us. But probably the best of the lot is our boxing team. We've got a very strong boxing team, 2 Azerbaijan champions, some Silk Road champions, and I'm bringing them over to box against Repton. There's probably sentimental reasons for me. My parents, their first flat was in Globe Road, which is round the corner from Bethnal Green. Repton Club, and Dual Crawl is the venue where we've got 8 bouts from 51 kg up to heavy 90 kg. Next Friday night at Dual Crawl. Yeah, it should be a good evening of boxing, amateur boxing.
Definitely. I understand someone you've done some charity work with in the past, and a massive Arsenal fan, Mo Farah. He's involved in it as well.
We're doing it all for Refugee Week.
Yeah.
IDP. We've got more IDPs in Azerbaijan than any other place in the world. I think it's 1 in 10 in the population, about 900,000 IDPs in Azerbaijan. When Armenia came into the country, they all run all over the place. And, yeah, they've got IDPs, and it's Refugee Week, and it makes sense for Mo Farah's foundation for all the proceeds to go to Mo's foundation. So, yeah, we'll be putting all the proceeds to the boxing event to Mo.
No, definitely. And with boxing, are you a boxing fan yourself? Have you been to many bouts yourself down the years?
I'll tell you a bit of a secret. Back in the day, I was in the shelf. I've been playing for Arsenal for about 4 years, and the Bruno Buckner fight was at White Hart Lane, and I stood in the shelf that evening. I remember kind of ducking and diving all the way back down the Seven Sisters Road, trying to save my life, as it were. I was quite scared on the night, and yeah, I've been to a few down the years. Michael Watson comes to mind. He's kind of middleweight was quite a good period for boxing. I missed it, but what a cracking fight the George Groves fight was, and that was a tremendous fight, and the enthusiasm for boxing seems like it's growing again.
No, definitely. And in terms of like these days, you get footballers, they do a bit of pad work in the gym. Is that something you came across, doing some boxing training and a bit of pad work?
My dad taught me skipping back in the day. My uncle Harry, I'm trying to trace the records, but I think he had a fight against Brian London in the early 60s for London champion, British champion, I think it was. Brian London went on to fight Henry Cooper. So the family coming out the East End, Repton Club, such a famous club in the East End. So I've always had a historical kind of feeling about the club, and I've always kept an eye on my fights and stuff. Yeah, skipping, my dad thought skipping was a fantastic workout. He didn't call me Twinkle Toes for nothing. He thought I was a bit flat-footed, and he needed to get me skipping, and it certainly worked for my coordination and balance at a young age. And, it was a better alternative to ballet dancing, so, that he threatened me with, so I stick to the boxing.
I'm sure you've come up against many tough strikers, tough opponents. You've played with many tough opponents and alongside many tough opponents. Who would you say out of the footballers you've played with and played against would be the best boxer?
I think John Fashion, I think he had it all there, Flash. I think he was actually karate champion, and he probably went on and stuff, but he looked like he could handle himself quite well. I broke my wrist when I was 11, that's what I'm blaming. I could have been a contender, but no, there's been a few, luckily enough, most footballs we're not allowed to use our hands, so if I had a fight I'd probably kick someone. Well, it's been a really uncomfortable emotion for me, anger, and I know a lot of boxers struggle it after they retire, and my charity again is looked after a few boxers where they've struggled with the adjustment, and the boxing industry is not really looking after ex-boxers. the way that the PFA do with footballers and stuff. It's quite great. I'm quite proud of the PFA, the way they help out past footballers. Boxing could learn a lot from that. You know, for instance, the Groves fight, I think there's a percentage of it should have gone to the union, the boxing union, you know, to help boxers' injuries and mental and emotional support.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, you mentioned the Froch Groves fight, and you've mentioned some of the people that are going to be in attendance on the night next week. And one of the guys there mentioning like how boxing could probably help some of its legends, and it's nice to see Frank Bruno's going to be there, and of course he's a British great as well, and someone who's suffered down the years.
Yeah, he's had problems on the day in the past, and you know, at the moment I think he's okay, and he's on a good period, and yeah, that's why I kind of went for Frank really, to get him along. It's a nice nice tribute to him. We've got a few Joe Coles coming and going, it's the only game, there's no football on it, 27th, so Sky News is going to take it for us, and we're going to do a few interviews throughout the night, and it should be a good evening.
Yeah, definitely. And going on to the football, England World Cup, first game against Italy, lost 2-1. Where do you think it went wrong against Italy?
Well, obviously, I think defensively, you know, we maybe was a little bit naive. You know, I think we went maybe too forward too much. You know, we weren't resilient. It's a numbers game, football for me, and getting the balance right is always important. And I don't think we were defensively secure. But then again, the Italians did very well. Great to counter-attack. They've got some good talent as well. I just think maybe, you know, they Phil Jones as well, you know, in success we've had in the World Cups and European Championships, we've played with 3 at the back. And it might be an option here, you know, in 1990, 96, we've gone semi-finals, and even in 98, quarter-finals with Argentina with 3 at the back. I think it's worth a consideration, because I don't think the current setup with that back 4 in tow will be good enough to go all the way for us. So first things first, let's hopefully we get through Uruguay, and might think about it as we get later on in the tournament. But hopefully someone's advising Roy on this, or maybe suggesting it could be an option.
And the next 2 games are Uruguay, of course, tomorrow. Massive game. How do you see the next 2 games going for England?
We don't play naive again like we did against the Italians, because Suarez will counter-attack us. If there's gaps and there's holes, then he'll find it and he'll beat us. And, you know, that's the only thing that worries me. You know, we should turn them over, but I've had this conversation with Arsene Wenger for the last 9 years. You know, I think sometimes we play too open and allow these teams, and we're our own worst enemy at times when we try to, you know, just go forward too much and we leave ourselves exposed. And that's the only thing that I'd be really conscious of tomorrow, that we try and keep a little bit more resilience, a patient performance is the one that I'll be looking for.
And if England get the victory they need, Costa Rica don't look like they're going to be easy. They put in a great performance against Uruguay, and of course Joe Campbell as well, an Arsenal player.
Absolutely. I'd be interested to see the result, Italy against Costa Rica, before the Uruguay game. I think that would be a draw, me. I don't think that the Italians will go for it. They don't need to. Costa Rica will be happy with a point as well. I think there'll be a draw, which means the loser of the Uruguay-England game it's all over for them. So more pressure goes on the English. And with Costa Rica, if we need to do anything against Costa Rica, it's not easy either. So let's, one step at a time, let's try and beat Uruguay and take it from there.
Definitely. And how far do you think England can get in the tournament? If they get out of the group, how far do you think they could get?
I think they might get to the quarter-finals. I don't think we'll win it. I don't think defensively we're good enough to win it. We've got some good attacking players, but I think against the top teams, I think we're full down.
And is it nice seeing some of those young players come through? I mean, from a personal point of view, Daniel Sturridge and Raheem Sterling they played without fear, and I think from some of the senior players, they probably don't play with that same fear as a young player does.
Yeah, but it only takes you so far. I think at the end of the day, they've got to have talent. And a great scheme of things. Wayne Rooney set up the chance for him to score, you know. So you need your experience. A blend of experience and young players is the best for me, and that bring different things to the team. And I think we've got all that. I think we've got pace, power. Even Lambert can come in and do another option. people that play in behind Wiltshire and the Ox of the Arsenal. You know, I think we've got plenty of attacking options. So I think it's not the problem for us, and it's great to see those players.
And in terms of who you think will go on to win the tournament, who are your?
I think Argentina. I said it at the start. I think Messi's probably the best player in the world.
Yeah.
But he's never had a good World Cup, and I think he deserves one. He's certainly the best player.
And top goal scorer?
Let's go for Messi again.
Yeah.
I'm quite my eye on Silva as well, Thiago Silva as a defender. I think he could grow his partnership with David Luiz. It could be one that could take him to the final also. Argentina-Brazil final. Messi scoring the winner.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much, Tony.